This is possibly the highest tide the world economy has ever seen, and South Africa has not escaped the bruises of its own economic meltdown. Supply chains have been disrupted and trade came to an almost standstill. Many companies were forced to shut their doors as governments around the globe tried to cap the spread of the coronavirus. Some economists say recovery is not in sight at the moment, but rather a depression, which is a severe and prolonged downturn in economic activity, is likely. Economic depression is defined as recessions lasting longer than 3 years or resulting in a drop in annual GDP of at least 10%. Some companies are not expected to be able to open their doors when the lockdown period finally comes to an end. They will go down with hundreds of thousands of jobs and the much-needed tax revenue.
There is no technical definition for a depression, but the economy will definitely show elements of a depression with big unemployment numbers, large growth in unemployment, and many businesses going into bankruptcy.
Many will lose their jobs. Some expect unemployment to be as high as 40%.
We're looking in the short term at a 40% unemployment level, with the risk being that it could be higher. And when it comes to the youth, the 15 to 25-year-olds, I think that this number is going to be somewhere around 70, maybe 80%. It's going to be massive because there are no new opportunities. There are no new opportunities for kids just out of school education or training to find a new job.
The higher unemployment will present more pressure on the already strained government finances as more people will require assistance. Glorious Fagomusi, SABC News, Johannesburg.
This is so unbelievable. You see this, Peter, before lockdown, its cost was 20 rands, guys. And guess what? Yesterday, I just went to buy pizza, buying the same pizza with the same price, which is 20 rands. And guess what I got? This is so serious, guys. This is so serious. I want to show you what I got. This is what I got. I was surprised. Do you understand me, guys? I was very disappointed even in myself, guys. This is so real. This is so real. Businesses are struggling. Imagine now they have reduced the size of their packages so that they will be able to recover. This is so serious, guys. We need to take things seriously. We need to know what's going on around our economy. South Africa is going through a rough time, and guess what? Some of us are not aware. Imagine, after a lockdown, South Africa's GDP decreased by over 10%. That leads us into Great Depression. South Africa's gross domestic product has fallen for the fourth consecutive quarter, putting the country in a severe recession. Stats SA announced on Tuesday the GDP fell by just over 16.4% between the first quarter and the second quarter of 2020. All this results in an annualized growth rate of negative 51. If you notice, most prices in stores of products have increased. And some of us cannot even be able to afford. Some people have lost their jobs. South Africa has been in a recession before a lockdown. After a lockdown, it moved from a recession phase to a depression phase. And we need to be aware and we need to be careful. Imagine, a recession is part of the cycles the economy go through, and businesses save money for recession, which is not really a bad thing because it's a time to get rid of dead wood like a wildfire, and then growth comes back. Now we're in a depression. A depression is different where an economy is real broken, when it's not going to be sinking, shoots in many instances. This is a depression where the South African economy is not going to bounce back, and many businesses are going to close down forever, said Chief Economist Davy Roots. Guess what he also said that also made me worried? He also said that apparently hundreds of wine farms would not reopen. This is permanent damage. It's not just a bruise, and the fiscal accounts have got completely out of hand. There is no way Tito Mboweni is going to turn fiscal accounts, because he would have to cut state spending chronically, and organized labor won't allow that. Chief Economist Davirut also estimated that the gross domestic product would contract to negative 10%, and it would take 6 to 7 years to recover to 2019's GDP level. And it might even take more than 10 years for per capita GDP to bounce back. But now, what do we do as South African citizens so that we're able to prepare, so that we're able also to survive through this depression? On my next video, I will be talking about that, or I'll be giving out tips on how we can survive through this depression. South Africans, we need to be aware on what's going on in our economy. Really, South Africa is in a bad condition, and we as people need to start acting. Otherwise, we will end up in poverty, and we are not seeing this coming. Please don't forget to subscribe, and also